Welcome to a night of total terror.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its
We
time.
must not be lulled by the concept that these are our family members or our friends. They are not. They will not respond to such emotion.
Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all time.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
First came the night, then came the dawn. Now comes the most eagerly awaited day in horror film history.
Welcome back to Thursday of the Dead, episode 289. My name is Chase. Today I'm announcing the winner for the Fulci Zombie Bust, but I'm going to show you all the finalists. It was a tough choice, and you'll see why. Here's the first entry.
Hello, Jace. Stasio here. Just wanted to submit my entry. So I had, as you know, a larger collection, and I don't have it anymore. So this is all I have at the moment on my Fulci. So Zombie I saw at the Capitol Drive-In when it came out, and then I also had the Wizard video VHS of it. New York Ripper I only saw on video, and Zombie 3 I saw at the Capitol Drive-In also when it came out. I had Gates of Hell. I found it at an estate sale last year, but the disc turned out to be defective, so don't have that now. But I enjoy Fulci. Think he's fantastic, and maybe get the bust. All right? Thank you very much.
Stasio, if you have watched recent episodes, he won the Dawn 3D poster. And here's the next entry.
I've been a big fan of Fulci for many years now, but when I first got into the zombie film genre, there was a handful of films, and this was one of them. In the UK it was Zombie Flesh Eaters, and this is the original Video Nasty. So back in the early 80s there was the Video Nasties, which were basically a list of films that were deemed too shocking for general consumption. So they were banned outright. So if you owned or were renting out copies of these particular movies, you could be prosecuted, fined, put into prison, your collections, destroyed. Which is absolutely crazy in today's standards. But I've always loved, of all the Nasties, this is one of my favourite artworks. They also did one which had the sticker. It was the strong uncut version. This isn't the strong uncut version. I do have the uncut version as well, but it's in storage somewhere. But I always loved this artwork. Quite minimalistic spine artwork, which wraps around on the back of the information. The old Vipco video label. So there you go. This is up there with my favourite tapes ever.
Now, this entry was great because Scott has a VHS that I don't have. I don't have that specific version of Zombie Flesh Eaters. And so now I'm looking for one. And here's our next entry.
Hey, Jace. Lucio Fulci Zombie. That was one that, being a Romero fan, I'd always read about Fulci Zombie, sort of, being inspired by Dawn of the Dead. And of course, coming up in the pre-internet era, it was very difficult to, find any information about these movies. Zombie was one that I remember seeing a lot in the video stores and seeing the big box. I can actually vividly remember perusing the box art and looking at it in the big box version, actually. And when I started to build up my own VHS collection, I was like, man, I got to get Zombie. But of course I couldn't find it anywhere. And I do remember, I remember the date because it's written on this tape here. August 17th, 1995, the day before my birthday. I was at the mall with my grandmother, and she's like, go to Suncoast Video and get whatever you want. So I'm looking, I'm like, I'm going to find Zombie. I go straight to the Z's in the horror section, and I see Zombie 2, and I think Zombie 5, Zombie 6 maybe even. And I was like, I don't know what this is. On the artwork, it says the Lucio Fulci classic, right? And I was like, all right, Zombie 2. I'm like, all right, that's the guy from the big box that I saw, looking on the back. I'm like, I don't know. And I very vividly remember coming home or back to my grandmother's house that fine August afternoon, and popping in the tape and start watching. I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. And obviously it's a full frame, cropped version of the film. I was enthralled, and I can't remember how I figured out that it actually was Zombie. I think I started to put two and two together by obviously the poster Zombie showing up later in the film, but also the ending and seeing stuff that I had seen on the back of the boxes, or the big box version. This is the original tape, and actually it still has the date that I wrote on there, if you can see that. And obviously at one point I tried to cover up the 2, but I was like, it's cool to keep it that way. Of course I've since gone on to get a few of the big box versions. I got the reissue. What else do I have? I have a couple of rentals up there. One of them's a cut box of the smaller version. I do have the Laserdisc, you mentioned that too. Got the Gates of Hell, a couple of versions of that, a couple of releases. House by the Cemetery, The Beyond, certainly over DVD and 4K as well. I love Fulci. I've got the poster for Zombie in my office. That one also goes back almost 30 years. Got that in 1996, and a couple years ago I had Ian McCulloch sign it. It was really cool. Really cool of you to do this contest. And yeah, man, thanks for everything you do. See you.
So Bob's entry was great. I appreciated, first of all, his collection is awesome, and his mention of Suncoast Video brought back tons of memories. I bought tons of horror movies on VHS at Suncoast. And funny enough, I ended up dating a girl at one point that worked there, and she was the one that gave me a bootleg VHS of the Blair Witch Project before the movie had even come out. And so I, like a virus, I went around to all my friends showing it to people. And so here's the next entry.
So I first discovered Fulci, I want to say around 2000, after I found a write-up about The Beyond on a website that I believe was called House of Horrors. There was a whole section about Fulci and really focusing on the Gates of Hell trilogy. But in particular, I found an image of the zombified version of the character Jill getting her head blown off by David Warbeck. And outside of Romero's Day of the Dead, I don't think that I'd ever seen that sort of gore or imagery before. Those special effects just blew my mind. So I immediately had to go seek this film out and see what it was all about. I want to say it was on DVD. It may have been VHS. Whatever was available at the time is what I sought out. So one of the things that struck me the most about The Beyond was that it sort of portrayed this strange cosmic horror vibe, almost like Lovecraftian horror, and sort of hinged on this dream logic the entire time, which I personally had never seen portrayed this way on film before. And that piqued my interest enough to sort of seek out the rest of Fulci's filmography, which of course led me to Zombie. And the first thing that struck me about Zombie was that grotesque cover art that's become so famous at this point, of the poster zombie with the rotting flesh and the worms coming out of the eyeballs, or the eyeball, I should say. And that just immediately struck me. And recently I've actually been lucky enough to meet Ottaviano Delacroix, I think I pronounced that correctly, who portrayed the poster zombie. Very nice gentleman. That was a pleasure to meet him in person. But finding out that also Zombie has some sort of strange, unofficial connective tissue with Dawn of the Dead, I had to seek it out. I had to find it, and and of course, I loved it as soon as I saw it, and it's remained in probably my top 10. It's pretty close to top 5, I think, favorite zombie horror films of all time. And of course, Fulci is my second favorite director, behind George Romero. Jace, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate being involved in these contests that you're doing, and really more so just sort of appreciate the opportunity to be able to connect with people like you and other like-minded folks that love these films and love Fulci and want to connect and speak and share our thoughts and feelings about these films. Plus, it's just a really cool way to kind of play show and tell, and that's cool too. So, but even though I already own the gift, the prize that you're offering for this contest, I just kind of wanted to take the opportunity, to sort of reach out and show you some of the items that I have and talk a little bit about Fulci and what his films mean to me and how I sort of discovered his work. So, if I am chosen, if I do win the prize, I would just ask that maybe, it be gifted to someone else that deserves it, that doesn't already own it. But again, I do appreciate the opportunity to sort of come onto your show and be able to share my love of Fulci and zombie horror with you. So, but here are a few of the Fulci items that I have. There might be a few items at the end that aren't Fulci related, but are still pretty cool. I just wanted to throw them in there. But outside of like DVDs, VHS, physical media, vinyl records, and stuff like that, here are a couple of items that I wanted to share with you. So thanks again. Hope you enjoy. And of course, when speaking about Fulci, I can't forget Mr. Fulci himself, who's decided to make a cameo.
Matt easily would have been the winner, but as he stated, he already has the statue, so he's letting someone else be the winner. His presentation was so good that I think he should have his own show. I think Bob should too. I think they should team up and have a show, and then have me on as a guest. But I met 3 of the 4 finalists for the first time in Pittsburgh during Living Dead Weekend 2023. I met Scott and Bob for the first time in this footage, where we're on top of Fort Pitt, or 247 Fort Pitt. And then I met Matt when I was standing in line for the cast photo. It was tough to pick a winner. A lot of great entries, but the winner of the zombie bust, Bob O'Rourke. I'll be contacting you for your shipping address. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. See you next week.